Good morning, everyone. It's about 5:45 a.m. I hope everyone's doing well and having a great morning. Don't follow any links or emails in the comment section of the channels soliciting you for anything. That would be scammers. And the healing intentions are always set for you folks. So if you choose and you want them, stand in your power, decree it for your highest and greatest good only and always, and just breathe and relax and allow it to integrate the body. All right, so today is the day that we call the 17th in the month that we call July in the year that we call 2025. So it's the 17th, you guys. Yeah, well, what to read on today? What to read on? Let's see, what did I see this morning? I saw this morning that there's some more breaking news about the vaccines. I can't remember which one, but they are letting people know that one of them destroys eyesight. So news is trickling out more and more about those jabs that they crammed down everybody's throat in 2020. I still think there are people that love vaccines so much and loved that vaccine so much that they'll never accept the truth. I still see people all alone, 5 years later, all alone in their vehicles, masked up. They really screwed with people's heads during that whole COVID bullshit era. It's really sad. I mean, the permanent damage. 5 years later, nobody's masked, but there's still these individuals that you'll see all masked up by themselves. Terrified of the world and germs, and it's just so sad. But it's their journey, right? It's their journey, so it is what it is. All right, well, there's several things that we want to look at. There's been a lot of rain, unusual amounts of rain in Florida and other states. We know what they've done in Texas. So I want a true story about about all of the rain that people are having. They're saying it's unnatural, it's not normal, it's unnatural, and I have no doubt it probably is. I have no doubt. But let's see what the universe says, and let's get a story around it. Yeah, just try to see what the universe wants to say around all of this unusual rain that's been hitting Florida and other states. Please and thank you. We'll do a 7-card spread so that we can get a pathway there, you guys. All of the rainfall that people are saying is an unusual, and they're thinking it's being done to them. Let's get a story around that true story, please and thank you. I guess I've got to move the cards because you're not going to be able to see. Well, I was going to move the tripod, but it's probably easier just to do this. I still think the tripod's not set where it should be. It's different. Let's back it up and maybe tip it down and maybe pull it this way. It seems to work a little better, doesn't it? All right, so let's take a look at this, you guys. So, it's funny, the pathway here. because the pathway is that there's a big focus on all of this rain. Big focus. King of Pentacles, which is abundant, and we're talking about rain. So there's a big focus on this real, it would say with the King of Pentacles, it's saying, yeah, abundant, like a lot. That's saying a lot. And then, of course, that cup's at the very top coming in, right? That's water, that's rain. And then we have here, we've got your 5, which is systems and great change and chaos and the people kind of suffering. So it's saying to me that the systems have created this rain in the communities, okay? And above that, though, it's saying the sun in your future will come out and things will clear off. So it's not showing any type of... Well, we're just going to let them talk some more. But it's definitely done by the systems. And above, you do have the sun coming out and victories, because the sun is like a celebration. So, but it is showing the systems kind of doing this rain. You can see with this card, like you can even see stuff in the atmosphere. That's why this card holds so many different meanings for me. It can be snow, it can be rain, it can be sleet, it can be fog, it can be crap in those things, it can be a vibration that's bringing people down. It can be a lot of things. But it's definitely showing a system with that 5 of Pentacles, because that's a system that has brought this stuff into the atmosphere in abundance into the communities. But above you do have that sun coming out and victories and things being cleared off. So let's get more of a story and just see what else they want to say there, you guys. I hope everybody's having a beautiful day. You know, you can focus, like, you can focus on the weather and you can put your energy into taming it down. So when you hear something about the weather, if you want, and it wouldn't hurt for you to all just kind of take the time, maybe once a day, to just sit and focus on taming down weather. If it seems to scare you, or if it makes you worrisome, or if there's some sort of threat around the weather, just take the time, you guys, to sit and visualize the raindrops getting smaller and smaller until they end. Visualize the sun coming out. If you hear something about a tidal wave, visualize that tidal wave losing height and power and impact. You know, that really does, that stuff is real. You can really do it. You really can. So let's get more of a story here around all of this rainfall. Huh. Well, the rest of the story, here we go. So, first thing that comes up, we have that Fool. That's a very high vibration. Look to the heavens, right? Stay well grounded. Look to the heavens. That's a vibration. And then we come over, and that's over our sun. And that's over you know, the celebrations, the good stuff, the sun coming out. So higher vibrations coming, covering the lower vibrations, which have brought in all of this rain. And then over your clearing the way, clearing things out, we have a wish fulfillment and prayers answered. And this is cups, and it's also clearing this what's coming in via the atmosphere. So then we come down and we've got prayers being answered. That's all about vibration, right, you guys? So I think what I was just saying, you know, focus on it being gone. Use your own vibrations, your wish fulfillment, your own magic to see this fizzle out. But down here, we also have like these people working together in celebrations because they grounded something in. But it was grounded in with integrity. So I'm not so sure some of this rain wasn't done by possibly, well, just let them, I'm just going to let them talk a little bit more. I'm going to come over here. So we'll just let them talk just a little bit more. Seems like this might be a little more complicated than people think. Not necessarily nefarious is what I'm saying, because even though the systems brought this in, there's really no cards here saying that it was done maliciously. Do you know what I'm saying? So let's take a look. That's a warrior card, you guys. So crossing that river, bridge, stream, or water, being focused on for a long period of time. I think this is an operation, because now you've got the white hats coming in, the good military. The world. All right, so like I said, I didn't have any nefarious cards here really, except for that a system brought this into being, right? And that it was done with integrity, higher vibrations, things are going to clear, celebrations, grounding things in, done with integrity, needing to cross these particular bridges, rivers, streams. This is something that's been in the making, a plan for quite some time. And then of course I've got my Knight of Swords, and for me that's my good military, coming in, doing something, you know, in battle, some sort of battle, something new that needed to be done quick with that 8 of rods, and something that they've done the world over. They've done this the world over. Like this isn't, it might be new to those areas that they've done. It's some sort of new battle that they've done. So the rain was necessary or is necessary for them to be able to do what they're doing. Is that correct? Am I getting that correct? The vibration is high with this. You've got high vibrations everywhere. The sun, the Fool, the wish fulfillment, the 4 of Swords. You know, you've got integrity here. That's a high vibration. The Ace of Swords, very high vibration, high vibrational enough to open the crowns of people. Good military working. You've got this high vibration of the world and the elements all working in our favor. There's nothing, it doesn't look nefarious. So are you telling me that this was created, these storm fronts were created, but not in a nefarious, not for nefarious reasons, but for but for good reason. Please and thank you. It was done with good intentions. There are decent intentions behind it. Is that what you're saying? Please and thank you. Don't forget that sun is a kid card. Yeah, so they're answering me. This is what I'm getting, you guys. I'm getting that these storm fronts that you're seeing right now, though manipulated, were not done nefariously. That's what I'm getting. And then they gave me my yes with the Alliance card. This had something to do, they had to, like, they brought this in abundance into the communities. But there's nothing nefarious here. It's like it's going to go away, the sun will come out, and you'll be viewing clear skies soon. And then, even at the top here, you guys, with that Four of Cups bringing in that rain, that's a balanced card. So that's saying they're not creating an imbalance with this. I don't know, it's very odd. Not one damn thing here that says nefarious in any way whatsoever. We've got, this fool with the little dog keeping him grounded. So I think there's probably something to do with the underground and the kids, because these two cards, so the dog keeps this guy grounded. He's looking to the sky. The dog keeps him grounded. That's where I'm getting the ground from, right? And then the sun, obviously, is about children. So I'm wondering if, and of course, this is crossing a river, bridge, stream, you guys. So this, and a mission that's been talked about and figured out how to implement. And it's a high vibrational mission, one that will open crowns. So something about it when the truth comes out, or when tidbits start dribbling out, it will have some sort of that makes sense type of effect with people or whatever. They had to do this quick. They brought it in and did this quick. And it's something they've implemented all over the world at times. So it's interesting. I'll just share with you what happened here. So we don't really, our weather is like snow and ice and things like that. And flooding doesn't generally happen unless you have like tropical storms coming in. It's just, even if we have really bad rain, there's only places where the road will flood. And it's not one of those things that we have to think about too much here. It's not a regular thing for us. But a couple of years ago, we had a lot of flooding. They brought several storms in. It was done because the storm would be at its worst at high tide. And so it came in and it flooded businesses, that were on the ocean, and businesses that have been there for ever, that, were never affected by anything like that. And we had, it was ridiculous. We had a ton of storm damage everywhere, and flooding everywhere. It was real inconvenient, and it sucked because roads got washed out, and people's businesses got flooded, and all sorts of things happened. But what's interesting is at that, where they were bringing it in during high tide, where it was doing the most damage, we had some discussion because there had been a food plant there that burned. Remember when all the food plants were burning? So this particular food plant had been there for, as long as I can remember. Before it was a frozen food plant, it was a chicken plant. So it'd probably been a frozen food plant since the mid to late 70s. Been there a long time anyways. The building was very old. And we've wondered, you know, we kind of believed that all of these places that got burned might have been for our highest and greatest good, honestly. And then I had to wonder about why they brought in, it was like we got flooded out. We had massive storms. It was like 5 or 6 times, you guys. And it was massive storms. I think it was 2 years ago. And we had to wonder, like, are they doing something? Are they washing something out? What is going on? Was there something going on underneath that town that nobody knew about? And, you know, that's always a possibility. That's always a possibility. But it looks like there might be something to that nature going on where it wasn't done nefariously, but it was a mission. And it's very good intentioned. It's got the integrity card and the Ace of Swords. It was something they had to do quick. They've done it around the world. You know, when they're doing this, they're working together with people very high vibrationally underground. And it's celebratory. And again, this is a grounding card, right? And then grounding something in. So happy to ground this mission in. It's a bridge they had to cross. Very high vibrational integrity. You know, the Queen of Wands, she thought of how to do it over a period of time, and then it was implemented quick. And this is something that they've done throughout the world. And so, you know, then we get our yes with our Emperor, which for me is the Alliance. So we've got the good military here and the Alliance here. So it was done with good intentions. Nothing nefarious about it. So let's just ask a couple of questions and then we can be done with that, because there's nothing nefarious about it. It looks to me, because they're grounding things in, right? And this is a kid's card. So that always makes me think tunnels and dams and, you know, things like that. So has all of this rain and had anything to do with maybe going in, clearing out more tunnels? Sorry, you guys, I had to get another sip of my coffee. Clearing out more tunnels. Getting rid of people that may have been hiding down in the tunnels, creating a distraction so that they could pull off another mission of maybe rounding people up that were guilty of doing things like this. If they have everybody looking at the sky, then you're distracted, right? So you guys know what I'm asking. So if you just want to have a conversation with me around these types of things, because you're saying it wasn't done nefariously at all. So looks like it was a mission done quick, something they've implemented around the world at different times, and a celebratory thing. So does this have something to do with underground tunnels, dams, things that maybe people wouldn't know about or think about when all this rain is happening? Can you just give us a little, we'll have a conversation, please, and thank you around that? That 3 is like storm clouds and rain, okay? And then we've got the kid card coming up, and that's also more rain, cups, water, emotions. I would say this was an underground mission, you guys. They brought the rain in. There's a lot of lies and stuff around all this rain coming in. Scare tactics, upsetting people, getting people scared. But we should be rejoicing. Some people are saying bits of truth around this, but like, so the bit of truth would be the weather manipulation. The reasons for it would be lies. That this rain has come in. Rejoice. This really did have something to do with our children. And the things that these people do. Now, what is the devil known for? Everybody thinks the devil lives underground. The devil is in the center of the earth. The devil and his minions and whatnot. So when you think about that, that really does have something to do with the kids or humans underground, having enslaved by nasty people. And then that King of Wands, that good leader that is kind of overseeing this rain and this operation. So let's go ahead, just pull more cards right from this. Can you see them? Not all the way. Let's push them up just a little bit so you can see it. All right, so then we have the Death card. So you've got these kids underground, right? And humans and things going on beneath our feet, okay? Very ugly, very, very ugly things. And probably fairly deep, because next to that we have this, it's a huge imbalance. Look at the difference between how he's holding that. So that lets you know it's right fairly deep, and the water behind is like, it's really emotional, even though this is our pentacles, you guys, and that 2 brings balance. But the 2 is like, that's what you have to work for, is balance, right? And this gives you an idea that this is very emotional because of these huge waves in the background. And so it's very emotional, even though it's like this massive imbalance here on the earth plane, and then working to balance it. It was a juggling act for these leaders that were involved in this to use this water on this earth plane and make sure that it didn't get too off balance, you guys. But they had to use this water in saving these kids, people, animals. This is like, this flushes all the ugly up to the top. So what I'm wondering with that is, we know that things have been going on for a long time. Operations have been going on for a very long time. And obviously, you're not going to want to flush kids up to the top or humans up to the top, right? You're not going to want to flush things up because you could obviously take a chance on hurting someone. So what I'm wondering is if it was already, if there were things that were already done, and now with the rain, the excessive rain in particular areas, if they were using that rain to flush those tunnels out, almost like a cleansing effect, because we did get all of those high vibrational cards in that last one. And you would want to clear things, cleanse things energetically, as well as maybe things being left down there that they wouldn't want people to see or find, right? And then we come down, death kind of brings everything up to the surface. And This is it's a super emotional thing. And they had to work to juggle it just right. Had to be juggled just right, you guys. But then we come down, so you've got all of this heartache, the storm, the rain, the lies, the leaders that are fair and passionate and fiery, trying to do the right thing here. And again, like a balancing of the scales, doing what's right for people that are suffering because there's love. So I would say this might have been like sort of a cleanup, a cleaning up of things, as well as a rescuing of. So used as, I would say, 3 different things, you guys. Used as a distraction, a cleanup, and a rescue. And I just want to ask if I'm getting this correct. Because what they're doing is they're bringing in a storm. They're rescuing kids from these chains that bind. They're flushing things up to the surface. In doing so, it was a juggling act. This was done with love to help those in need. So something was going on to help children and people and to flush things up from the surface, like clean out, and to help people that were suffering. So, am I getting that right? It served like, this rain has served like 3 purposes. A rescue. What did I say? A rescue, a cleansing, and a distraction. Am I picking up what you're laying down here, you guys? Please and thank you. All right, I got 2 things right. 2 things. Let's let him talk a little bit more. Okay, well, let me narrow it down first. So let's take the distraction out of it, and let's say this is a rescue and a cleansing. Is that correct? A rescue and a cleansing. I'm seeing that correctly. So it was a rescue and a cleansing. So what I want to know, is there more to it? Because I was saying a distraction. But is there anything more to it? Give me a yes or a no. And with that 3, it would be, yeah, it was a rescue and a cleansing, so it's clearing the way. So definitely, you know, a little more validation with that 3 about the cleansing. Flushing things out. So is there, give me a yes or a no, is there anything more you want to say about this? No. no more that they want to say about it. Not with that 5. It's just part of the great change. It's just part of it. It's part of the change. Nothing more needs to be said about it, I guess. So that's interesting. I just felt like pulling the next card, and it says just be still. Be still, we're in limbo. We're being enlightened right now. Be still. This also is like a stilling, so we need to be a little more still and a little less panicky, I think. A little more still and just feel into things and just a little less panicky. So, anyway, that's what I'm getting around the rain. People have really got their panties in a pucker over Donald Trump. You're really seeing people get pissed off at this Epstein stuff. It's everywhere. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's everywhere. People are really mad. Don't fall in. Don't allow yourself to be brought down into the vibrations that are going on so strongly right now. People are really in an uproar, and like we got yesterday, people need to get into an uproar because they need to be screaming that they want this stuff released, even though I don't believe Donald Trump can release it. I mean, we've been in a military operation for a long time, which means the military is handling this shit, which means that, Donald Trump and team really can't do anything because they just can't. Their hands are tied. They're the faces out there while this operation goes on. So, so they're using it, I believe, they're dangling that carrot. They can't say anything. They can't do anything because it's a military operation that we're in. It's a military operation. We get that over and over and over and over. So if it's a military operation, no, they can't bring you files. They can't tell you what's going on within the military operation. They also can't show you evidence because it's an ongoing investigation or ongoing being handled. So they can't show you all of that stuff. It's just, it is what it is. But I think for the people that are getting upset, they're more on the normie side of things. And the normies do need to get upset. I think they're using it as a tool. They're dangling that carrot. They're dangling the carrot to wind people up. And, we don't need a cult. Like, you don't want cult mentality. So, you don't want everybody in the world that supports Donald Trump thinking he's perfect and that he's some sort of a god. We're not meant to worship men, right? We're not meant to worship men. We're not meant to worship the musicians and the actors and actresses. We're not meant to worship the politicians. We're not meant to worship the guru or any man. We're not meant to worship men. Worship is a nasty, nasty vibration. It's like you succumb and you lose yourself. It's nasty. Anyways, we're not meant to worship false gods, right? We're not meant to worship men. So you don't want everybody that is a conservative that voted for Donald Trump because of their conservative policies and they want to make this country great again, and are concerned for the health and the wealth of their country. You don't want them blindly following this guy off of a cliff. And these guys aren't awoken to the fact that this is a military operation. They're not awoken to that. They probably don't know all the stuff that we do. So they're getting upset, and they should. They need to get upset. And they should get upset. That's good, because what Donald Trump said a long time ago is when it comes time to do what we need to do, the public will be ready to accept what it is that we need to do because they'll realize how bad things really are, right? So right now they're showing you that the government's crooked. They're making you question. They're making people question. Look at how corrupt these people are. Now they're hiding this stuff from us. The normies need to start looking at things that way. We've known this stuff for a long time. They need to start seeing it. So the dangling of the carrot, like we got yesterday's? Plus I think we got it a while back. This is all part of the awakening process, part of the mission. Part of the mission. So as far as like the people that should know better but don't, like people that have known that we're in the midst of a military operation and they're calling BS on this stuff, are they just uneducated? Are they just allowing their emotional triggers to drive them? Or are they showing their true colors? So that's just something I would like to see. I just want to know if you take the normies out. And I think some of these people on these platforms that do know that we're in the midst of a military operation, I think that their role may be to be bitching and fussing and saying, why aren't they doing this, this, and this, and calling them out to wind up the level of conscious people that follow them and get those people kind of wound up. Because remember, when it comes time to do what needs to be done, they'll have the backing of the people, right? So, and we've been told this stuff over and over and over again in the readings, but I just kind of reiterated what's going on, and I just want to know if I'm on the right track. As far as some of the people that have had social media platforms that have been saying that they know that we're in the military operation or following that cue, narrative and understanding the laws and the orders that show that we're in a military operation, for them to now be screaming about Donald Trump and looking as though, I know some people are calling them traitors, but we have to step back and not be emotionally attached, you guys, and step back and think, why might some of these people be doing that? And is that to get the masses going so that the masses are screaming and wanting exposure over what happened to children and young girls and women and people on that island? You know, are they kind of riling people up to kind of emotionally trigger them, to drive them in the particular way that they want them to start seeking and feeling, paying attention? So it doesn't necessarily mean they're traitors or they're, you know, it might mean that they're playing a role to wind people up. So that's what I want to know, are some of these podcasters, some of these people that have social media platforms that seem to always support President Trump and team, that have kind of given the inclination that they do believe there's something bigger going on. Are they getting pissy and putting it out there that they're all upset to sort of to help rile up the people, to get the people wanting particular things released, to get people really feeling something about this? Is it their job to just rile people up? Please and thank you. I think you guys know what I'm getting at. Please and thank you. With one card, we can just get a yes or no there. It's part of the information war, you guys. This is part of the information war. Let's just pull a couple cards to go with that. Getting people to focus on the narrative, so that, and it's just part of the groundwork, and it's part of what they're pulling in right now to get people to focus, you know, and to balance things out, so that triggering their emotions, and balancing things out to get them focusing. People need, here we go with the death card, you guys, and transformation. So yeah, getting people to focus on the, maybe some of the nastier things. They want people riled up, so when the nastier things come out, they'll be able to handle it. We have temperance there, transforming things. So this information war is this information war, emotionally triggering people, is part of what's creating the new birth. It's part of what's showing the ugliness. It's getting people to focus on things they weren't looking at before. It actually helps bring in new ground. It's actually helping to transform things, you know, to bring us to a place where people think for themselves. They're having to be triggered emotionally to get them to this place where they're going to end a cycle of being, she steps out and she's sovereign. She's an independent thinker. And so this is an information war to get people to go, wait a minute, and start focusing independently. You see how he's doing that? Independently, he's focusing, right? And he's seeking all of the ugly stuff. He's seeking it. That's what he's focusing on. And this information war has really done a lot of groundwork in getting people to kind of ground in a new way of being and transform. So transforming, you know, through these emotional triggers and, you know, through this roller coaster of things that they've been through, into someone who's like a little bit more independent, a little bit more discerning, more critically thinking, right? Can you see still? You still can. So, you know, the hermit is shining his light on the darkness to get people to focus. Celebrate, you guys. The hermit's also shining his light on some maybe of, you know, what they did here to people with the party drug, right? It's a huge time of transformation to get people to understand things. Rejoice. All of this chaos within this information war is being done deliberately, and it's having a good impact, you guys. It's really having a good impact. It's getting people to focus, to really, really focus independently, 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 independently. Whereas people, a lot of people were very much groupthink, like they acted like ants, you know, insect mentality. I'm going to do as everyone else does. I'm going to think as everyone else does. I'm going to say as everyone else does. So these skewed words and this skewed information and, you know, some truth coming out in a lot of things that are skewed, this information war is serving a purpose. And these people that seem to be turning on Donald Trump, some of them are very much part of the information war. Like they have a role to play. And it is helping to get people to focus. So don't get so emotionally attached to people getting uptight and saying shit that you don't like to hear. We got to break these emotional attachments. That's how they drive us like sheep. They're driving people like sheep right now to emotionally trigger them, wear them down, break them. And I know that sounds mean, you guys. I know that you guys are going to say that's just plain shitty. It's not. Because the universe has to break us to make us, and it just will. And if you're going to be made into something better, the universe will break you. If it's on your path to grow and expand, the universe is going to kick the shit out of you to tear down the ego, break the ego, and bring you to your knees so that you have one of two choices. I'm either going to get better or I'm just going to be bitter. And most people, because we have this drive. We want to be happy. We want peace. We want completion in our life. We want to feel fulfilled. And we have this strong survival instinct, you guys. Most people on their knees will say, I want to get better. And I've been broken over the years many times. And each time I was broken, it got a little worse, right? So every time I was broken to build again, I got a little better and came out of it a little better person, a little better. And then I'd get broken again, and I'd be broken in a little bit more than the last time, right? And I'd come through it a better person. And, then I'd be broken again. And I ended up having just this I was majorly broken. Worse than I had ever been up until that point. And that's when the fun stuff really started. I mean, when I say that, when I was in it, it was horrible. I'm just going to say it was horrible. I wouldn't wish that type of discomfort on anybody. But if I hear someone's going through it, I have great compassion, but I also get excited for them because I know that when they get through it, their growth is going to be just the blessings that come from it, and the growth is going to be immense. And so this is what's being done to people the world over. And it's being done deliberately. And it kind of needs to be if we're going to grow and become something better. Because people were seriously dumbed down. And, I'm not going to say they didn't care. We don't know how anyone else feels. And when we do that, when we put assumptions on things, when you assume, you make an ass out of everybody, you and me, right? So let's not assume people don't care. I think, truly, the human mind, most people don't have the ability to wrap their heads around such evil because they don't have that in their heart or in their mind. Even if they're a real shithead, they would never do those types of things. Do you know what I mean? It takes a special kind of empty, dark, cold, unfeeling to do particular things. So most people just can't wrap their heads around it. So it sounds like fakery in the modern day. It's unbelievable. And then you've got to take the fact that most people trust the news for their information, and that's a vibration that keeps them low. Literally, they use vibration. They use mind fuckery techniques with the flashing of the colors, the vibration, the repetitive words. And so you've got that going on, and that's been going on people's whole lives. And then you have the overworked, the extremely tired, just trying to raise a family, do their thing, get married, have their family tired, overworked, in a mundane life where they're struggling for survival, you guys. And yeah, people are jacked up with vaccines that overloaded with heavy metals and toxins that make them not feel good. That'll cut your intuition off. And there's so many things. So I don't believe that the world didn't care. I don't believe that for a second. I believe that they were put in positions where in modern day people don't behave that way, right? And they just couldn't wrap their head around it. And if they're being told it's debunked and it's not true by their trusted news stations, they believe it, they believe it. So they're having to go through their own triggering and awakening, like a mental breakdown, kind of. I don't think they're causing mental breakdowns. They're avoiding that by triggering them consistently to wake up through emotions, right? But not anything so bad all at once that it would create like a mental collapse for most people. For a lot of people, if they hadn't done this operation the way they're doing it, If all of this stuff was to just come out and be put on a platter in front of them, that would cause the mental collapse. That would cause the emotional break and the mental collapse. So they're doing it perfectly to create people to start thinking independently and looking at things and questioning things. And I think that's good. Now, when we look at some of these people, I know there's a lot of bitching that there's, who was I just listening to yesterday? I was in the shower when I was listening, so I only kind of half heard, but I think they said there's some patriots that they would have thought wouldn't turn so quickly. I am also wondering if, because I believe that both sides were infiltrated and you know, that's how things work. So are there some people out there that are hopping on the hate bandwagon of we've all been duped and this guy is dark and this and blibbity blee, blibbity blah, and that team is evil and you know, they've been taken over. Are there some people out there working on the dark side of things, finally showing their true colors? They pretended to be patriots, but they're what that group of people call themselves as patriots, but they were actually always in alignment with the deep state, the cabal, the other side of things. So is that also happening, that some people are just plain showing their true colors? Please and thanks. That wanted to fall. So yes, and a light's being shown on them, you guys. A light's being shown on them. So protect your mind, protect your heart, protect your emotions. There's a lot going on. There's operations going on. There's, you know, Operation Mind Screw going on, waking people up. You know, so yes, there's some people that are just being exposed for who they actually were. They were never patriots to begin with. And then you did get the story about, you know, some people are playing a role in this information war, and it is helping to get people, their sort of maybe MAGA audience that was MAGA and wanted a better world but didn't understand maybe all the corruption with this talking and this getting riled up. It's driving them to get wound up. And, you know, people on the other side, because things are so divisive, right, between the Democrats and the Republicans, it's so silly. So maybe on the other side, we might be seeing some of this screeching as well to get the Democrats wound up and, you know, demanding these things as well. Because at the end of the day, we're all humanity, and they worked really well to divide us. So we've got to come back together, and we will come back together over the children and what was done to us. Some of us have really lost our way, though. I'm going to say that. Some of us have really lost our way. I saw a video last night while I was cooking dinner. There was something going on in my state with the, I think it was like the transgenders, and, you know, they're all mad because they want to pretend that they're real women, but they're not, and they're living under this delusion. And so somebody went there and they just wanted to talk, like they were more conservative and logical. And they just wanted to talk, you guys, and, you know, and they wanted to explain that you can want to be a woman all that you want. And it's okay for you to want to be a woman. And it's even okay for you to, you know, dress like a woman and try to emulate that life and live this life here as close to living as a woman as you possibly can. But you're never going to be a real woman. If you have bottom surgery, you'll be a eunuch. And if you are taking female hormones, you're still going to be a man that takes female hormones that is now a eunuch. And he was just trying to explain to people, you've got to stop overriding what's true and what's natural and trying to demand that we all pretend that what you're saying is real, because it's not. Like, it's okay for you to live this life, but you can't say, I am a real woman and I get to overtake real women now. And the group was very hateful, and he was just being logical. And when he started praying, you guys, the anger that brewed out of these people, it was ugly. Their faces, the way their faces contorted, the screaming and the hateful, vile things that were coming out of their mouths, and the anger, and you could tell they just wanted to rip him apart, but it was being filmed. They were like, you could see that they wanted to like punch. You could see that they wanted to be violent. They wanted to punch him. They wanted to do something. They were having all they could do, and their anger was just raging out of them. I felt very sad seeing that. And I thought to myself, those people are lost. And then when that's as much negativity as you could. They're not holding light, you guys. These people have lost their light. And if there's any light left in them, it's very little. Their vessels are being run by something very dark. They've allowed a very dark energy to come in and kind of overtake them. And it's just, to me, it's heartbreaking. But we all have our own path, and we all have free will. And it's their free will to take whatever path they want. But then it got worse. Then my heart really, really, really broke. He started praying. And they were flipping out. I mean, I've watched, when I was growing up, I don't know how many times I watched The Exorcist. And I'm not, I'm just using a comparison, you guys. I'm not saying I saw demons flooding out of these people. But I will say this. When you're watching The Exorcist and they start talking about God, and boy, does that little demon inside that little girl get really mad. And, when he started praying, they were screaming, this rage comes out of them, their faces contort, they're screaming these vile, ugly things. But they was telling him to take his fucking God and get the fuck out of there. God has no fucking place there. And I mean, that's what they were saying, you guys. Excuse my language, but that's what they were saying. And just so void of God. And then this one woman was screaming, and this woman was probably, she's older than me, for goodness sakes. I mean, she said she'd had 3 children, and yeah, I don't have much gray hair for my age. She was pretty gray, which always makes me think maybe a little older, but she's probably actually not that much older than me. Here I am, I'm kind of living in a delusion. No, she definitely wasn't in her 80s. Definitely not. But she was probably in her 60s. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 65, maybe 66, 67. I think we all look a little younger than we did like 50 years ago, because our lives have been a bit softer in many ways. We haven't had, the physical work, and not everybody has that. A lot of people did back in the older times. So maybe maybe mid-60s. But anyways, she was saying how she had 3 kids, and she looked so angry, and she gets up in his face and she's screaming for God doesn't belong here, and take your God and get out of here. And I thought to myself, you've had 3 kids. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, goodness gracious. I hope she wasn't that hateful back then. But the anger that was just pouring out of her, and this is a woman who's had 3 children, and she's screaming that men are women too. So it's just crazy times that we live in. But it's heartbreaking to see how void, not just of common sense and things like that, but it's almost like, yeah, The Exorcist, it's like they're void of light. It's sad. It breaks my heart. It's sad, but we all have our own path here, and we all have our own free will, and I don't know. It's just sad, you guys. So, with that, I guess, because that's really been bothering me, weighing heavy on my heart, I would like to just clarify for people. So we got that, yes, there are people out there pretending to be patriots and the light's being shown on them. And we've got that people are out there riling people up as part of the information war. And you know, we got the Epstein files clearly are not going to come out right now. We even got stories around how they're dangling that carrot just to piss people off. We know that we're in a military operation, but I feel like somebody wanted me to validate that with the cards. So, I just will. I feel like I read that. Like one of you asked me to validate it with the cards. So yeah, we're in a military operation. We know that. You've let us know that over and over and over again. And if we're in the middle of a military operation, then clearly something as big as the Epstein files or any other thing to do with this type of big a deal, like with human trafficking, anything that's involved that has to do with this military operation. The military is handling, is that correct? Like, so the Epstein files in particular, this has been going on for a long time. This has been years, right? So would the military be handling Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, the files, how things are being taken care of and done? The military would be handling that. Is that correct? I mean, that only makes sense, you guys, that this is a military operation. So the military is taking care of this. Trump and team can't bring this forward. They can't do that. This is being handled by the military. Especially when you've got like Epstein saying, yeah, I'm CIA. You know what I'm saying? This would have to be part of the military operation. Because he was involved with those 3-letter agencies and with some pretty powerful people. So that's what I just want to clarify for everybody. The Epstein files aren't coming out. Yes, it's a information war. It's being used as a tool to get people in an uproar. But is the truth of the matter that it's Donald Trump and team can't bring that forth unless the military were to give them the go ahead, and the military are the ones that are handling this. Is that correct? Please and thank you. Please and thank you with one card, please. One card. Yes, so it's, like I said, this is a military operation, and you know, a lot of these questions, we have the answers. We already have the answers. If we're in the middle of a military operation, and you've got somebody like Jeffrey Epstein, who was doing the things that he was doing on that island that people like you and I know about, with the people on that island that people like you and I know about, the people from three-letter agencies and big corporations and bankers and public leaders and, you know, not just here in the United States, but all around the world, then obviously we've been in this military operation for a long time. The military is handling this. And President Trump and team can't bring that forward because the military is handling it. But what they can do is dangle the carrot and be used because Trump and team, they're the faces of this operation, right? You don't see the military. That's in behind us. The military stands behind Donald Trump. You've seen that over and over. They stand behind him. He's out front as the face of that. So the military is behind him, telling him what he can and can't do. And they're saying to him and his team, dangle the carrot and pull it back. Dangle the carrot and pull it back. Piss the people off. Dangle that carrot and pull it back. The military wants to see independent thinkers, people that come into critical thinking. And they're doing this operation, triggering people emotionally so that they can break them down a little bit, so they can rebuild them a little bit, so that people become more and more discerning and critically thinking. So that they don't just have another cult of people that would bow down and kiss the feet of Donald Trump and follow him right off a cliff. They have to see his imperfections, as well as they can't be worshiping him. That's not good either, you guys. So, you know, and he's a great tool for getting people pissed off because he acts as a giant mirror in the world anyway. People either love him or hate him because he's this giant mirror. And people don't really delve deep into themselves to see what it is in themselves that they hate, that he openly does in his life that makes them resentful because they don't have it in them, or whatever the reason, whatever it is that he's mirroring to people. Same with the loving him so much that, you know, it would almost be like a worship syndrome. So we don't want that. We want to be able to respect our president, love our president, but not be in a state of worship and emotional attachment where you would worship him. And they're going to make sure that the people that back Trump aren't in a place of worship by allowing him to trigger the very people he promised to bring these Epstein files to. And it's going to wake up the normie MAGA people. And it's going to get the other side screaming too, because they're all convinced he's on the list. So it serves a couple of purposes. But this is a military-handled operation. And Donald Trump is the face out there talking about human trafficking and saying he wants those files, and then triggering people by saying, what? You're still talking about Epstein? We've got flooding going on. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's being handled by the military, and he's being used as a tool right now in this information war with skewered words to wake people up. The military is handling the Epstein case and a lot of other shit, you guys, so rejoice. It's part of the healing of this planet with this Empress and Earth Healer. So with that being said, I've gone long. I probably talked a lot. But I think tomorrow I want to look into, because we're already an hour and 15 minutes in, you guys. I think tomorrow I want to look into what I saw in these people's faces and eyes. With that video that I watched. And I've seen the hate, and I've seen the anger, and I've seen the spewing. And I've been like, what the hell is driving them? But yesterday it hit me different. You know what I mean? It hit me different. Because I can't look at something. If I'm listening to a podcast, I can't watch. I'm a busy girl, you know, and I would be either like doing something, you know, listening while throwing a Kong for Luke, or listening while cleaning my house, or listening while working on a project, or, you know what I'm saying? Listening while cooking. I just happened to stop and look at the screen, and I looked at these people, and it hit me different, you guys. It just hit me different. So tomorrow I would like to look into people that are being people like that. It just really hit me different. I don't know how to explain it. So with all that, with the information that we've gotten today around flushing things up to the surface, flushing things out, clearing things out, operations that are not nefarious, but actually done to help, done in a good way, done for the betterment. And, you know, a little closer look at this information war. And yes, the military is doing, you know, we wouldn't even have to ask that question if we just remember what we know. And I don't mind validating people because you're all getting used to following your intuition. A lot of people haven't been doing it as long as like their whole life. And we're meant to question, we always question ourselves. So I don't mind validating, pulling cards and validating things. But honestly, we all of you guys and me too, we already had that answer. Because if we understand the laws and orders, and remember, you know, like I always tell people, if you don't, you know, if you question things, look at Derek Johnson. He lays those laws and orders out. And I understand some people don't want to, and I understand why. Derek gets a little fired up. He gets pissy. He yells sometimes. Sometimes he calls names. It's funny because a lot of the times what he's doing is not much different than Trump, when Trump's saying somebody is stupid. But for whatever reason, people take it better from Trump. It's just kind of funny. But I understand where the vibration might not always click with him. But what I always say to people is, it's not the messenger, it's the message. It's the message. And you don't have to actually listen to him if you don't want to. I think Derek is just a little fed up with the trolls. And he's just not built to take shit. And I think he's, you know, easily emotionally triggered. And gets really pissy. And because he's tired of people's bullshit, I think. So, and he wants people to understand the laws and the orders. And he, you know, he knows it's kind of important for us to know these things and our rights and the Constitution. And he sees that people don't actually want to take the time to read the laws and the orders and learn the Constitution. And I think that also pisses him off. Because how are we going to get our country back if we don't know, you know, if we don't know anything about our rights and our freedoms and how things actually work? But anyways, it's not the messenger, it's the message. So if you don't want to listen to him, if you get on his platforms, he does have everything written out that you can, you know, you can read. You can read the laws and the orders. And, you know, get caught up that way. When in doubt, he is a good resource for laws and orders. Just saying, it's not always the you know, it is always the message, and it's not so much the messenger. And don't forget, you guys, in our own expansion, healing, and growing, whenever we don't like somebody, there's something in it for us. So if we're really, really repelled, or if we're really, really attracted, there's always something in it for us. So, because we're all just mirroring to each other, right? So if someone really repels us, that's a good opportunity for us to go within and think about what it is about them that's triggering the emotions in us, and find the emotion that was hurt, wounded, when it was hurt and wounded, who hurt and wounded it, and start working on healing it, and then, you know, and move from there. And I'm not saying that you ever have to like that person, and now, oh, I've healed myself, and now I love this person that I was repulsed by. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's an opportunity for us to go deeper, you know. And when we heal, we might find that there's nothing wrong with that person. We do actually like them. Or when we heal, we might find that that person is very much like the monster that hurt us. And so we're never going to like them because they're kind of the same mean, dark, two-faced, backbitey, dangerous, sociopathic, narcissistic, or whatever person. I'm just saying there's something in it for us. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I've gone on and probably babbled another 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know. I'm going to leave us off, though, with one card with the as the information stands, with the information that we've received, as the energy stands in this moment. Leave us off with one card, please and thank you. What would you like to say to us now that we've received the information that we've received? What would you like to say to us? Please and thanks. One card. Let's cut them. We're in an information war, you guys. Protect your mind. Listen closely for words that are scared, and use your intuition to feel into what parts of those scared words have other messages. And, you know, speaking to you in a scared way. And, you know, keep seeking the straight up truth. It's out there. It's out there, and it's findable with that 7. Just remember, we're in an information war. And so it's meant to screw with people's heads. But there are messages everywhere. They're just, some of them are coming out very skewered. Okay? So, yeah. Anyways, I started out slow, quiet, and didn't take me long once I started talking to start babbling and talking. But it looks to me like the weather, though manipulated, was not done nefariously. And, yeah, this is an information war. People are out there trying to get other people woken up, not necessarily traitors, but they're playing a part in the information war. And then there are patriots out there that are having a light shown on them that were never really patriots to begin with. And, you know, yes, the military is handling all of this, the Epstein files and whatnot. And, yeah, we're in an information war, so the best that we can do is keep seeking information that matters, right? Keep learning about the laws and the orders. Keep learning about the Q operation and look for the Q comms. Keep learning about our Constitution. Keep learning about what's happening in our own backyards, neighborhoods, states, countries, so that we can be educated. You know, keep our eyes open, our ears peeled, listen for skewered words, and then pick apart, decode those messages. And stay focused on those types of things. And don't get triggered by what other people are saying. And, you know, if you're being triggered by things, take it as an opportunity to self-heal. Like, why is this triggering me? Seriously, why is it triggering me? Like, oh, this person supposedly liked my president, and I love my president. Now this person's shitbagging on my president. Why am I so pissed about that? Possibly because you've been betrayed. People that loved you, or supposedly did, or were close to you, betrayed you. And then if you know that already, you can go deeper. You can go deeper and deeper and deeper. Maybe it's even, not only have you been betrayed, but maybe there's a piece of guilt in there, because at some point in your life, because we're not perfect, you betrayed somebody, and you carry guilt for that, because you don't like being betrayed, and it's not usually in your character, and something happened and you betrayed somebody, and you're carrying guilt for that. So maybe you need to heal that guilt, and maybe you need to heal these wounds. Well, you don't need to do anything, but you could benefit from healing these wounds of people that have betrayed you. And maybe you're feeling protective of the president because you feel as though he's protected you. And maybe the only way that you can protect him is by getting angry, but that's not really actually protecting him. So maybe if you want to protect him, you could sit down and you could do some energy work and like really focus on protecting him, which would also make you feel better. Are you guys picking up what I'm laying down here? Do you see where I'm going with this? So, yeah, anyways. With that being said, have a beautiful day, you guys. I love you all very much. Keep filling yourselves with love. Fill yourselves up. Fill yourselves up. Protect your minds. Protect your hearts. Keep the vibration going higher and higher and higher. Stay in that love vibration. Continue to have compassion for yourself and the world, including those people that piss you off. That's how we do it. That's how we lift vibration. That's how we expand. All right, you guys. I love you. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I will see you soonish. All right. Bye-bye.